Alrighty friends, a warm welcome back to the channel again. So for this video, we're going to change gears up a little bit in that it will be much more of a retrospective video where I'll be sharing you the 5 tips that I wish I knew before I started medical school. So let's get straight into it. So the first thing that I wish I knew before starting out medical school was that it's not as hard as you think. And I'm pretty sure you've heard this phrase from your seniors and or professors, but I genuinely believe that the hardest part about medical school was actually getting in. Once you're in, most medical schools, generally, will do everything in their power to keep you in the program and graduate. So students, especially first years, tend to think that once they get into medical school, they'll be studying 24/7, and this cannot be further from the truth. The degree is hard, yes, but once you have good study skills, the actual content itself is not that hard. Rather, the struggle is the gigantic amount of information that you're going to be force-fed with and developing tools and strategies to condense, understand, and apply that information, whether it be during your exams and or clinical encounters. And this perfectly segues us into the next section, which is developing good time management and study skills. So as I alluded to earlier, with the ginormous amount of content that you'll be expected to learn and master in medical school, good time management and study skills are paramount. And I'll definitely be doing a deep dive on this topic where we'll explore strategies and tools that I use to excel in my preclinical years. But at this point in time, the main advice I'd like to give is to first try to explore study strategies that work well for you early on in medical school, preferably during your first year. Secondly, be proactive with your learning. Try to understand concepts rather than rote memorize them. 3. Try to space out your learning over time for improved retention. And finally, 4. Be as efficient with your time as possible. If you're going to block out 2 hours to study, make sure that you're giving undivided attention to your study during that 2 hours rather than fidgeting on your phone and scrolling through Instagram. 2 hours of intense productive work definitely beats 6 hours of procrastination and low yield learning. So if you keep these points in mind, this will free up so much of your time in medical school to pursue outside interests, whether it be joining a society, a band, or even a sports team. So definitely study hard, but more importantly, study smart. So the third thing that I wish I knew before starting out medical school was to utilize my seniors. I consider myself pretty blessed in that most of the seniors that I've met was through the society work that I have and currently am doing in medical school. And one thing is for sure, the seniors are definitely worth their weight in gold. The past papers that they've made online, the meticulously crafted notes that they willingly share with the junior students, and on some rare occasions, the unpaid tutorials that they run, they are the reason why 80% of your class passed the exams. And to this day, it still baffles me why they're not compensated for the work they do. So I strongly urge every aspiring medical student to make the most out of their seniors' knowledge and experience. They have literally gone through the challenges that you are facing and will face in the future, and so their insights can be incredibly valuable in your own journey. So last but not least, whenever my parents or my extended family ask me what life is like as a medical student, most of them are shocked to find out that I have enough time to join societies, tutor on the side, and maintain a somewhat sensible social life. I am of the opinion that in medical school, you definitely do have immense amounts of time, provided that, going back to the second tip, you have good time management and study skills. As a fourth year student, it pains me whenever I see my juniors cracking away at their studies 24/7, when in reality, they should be balancing out their studies with hobbies and interests outside of medicine that will make them a well-rounded person and eventually a well-rounded doctor. And developing hobbies and interests outside of medicine also has a myriad of benefits. The first one, and probably the most obvious one, is that it makes you an interesting person overall. Secondly, it provides you with life experiences that you can leverage in your clinical settings to build rapport with your patients. And finally, it also provides a medium to develop your soft skills, think communication, leadership, etc., that will help you further down the line when you become a practicing consultant. If you take me as an example, I was fortunate enough to join and lead a couple of different societies in medical school, and that provided me access to the seniors, but also to doctors that eventually helped me expand my horizons and develop new connections. I also joined a bunch of different non-medical societies, and the first society that popped into my mind was the investing society that I joined in my uni, and that also had a lot of benefits. Namely, it made me more financially literate, but also provided me with skills to better manage my own personal finances. So, in a nutshell, I implore you to either maintain or further develop new hobbies and interests outside of medicine, because that will make you a well-rounded doctor that your patients like and your patients can connect with. So the final tidbit is a bit of an out of field topic that I wish I knew early on, and one that I don't see being shared around in the medical student YouTube space, and that is to get started with research early. The truth is, in this day and age, it's becoming increasingly competitive for doctors to get into their specialty program of choice, especially if they're the competitive and lucrative ones, such as surgery, ophthalmology, dermatology, etc. So, for example, here in Australia, ophthalmology is one of the most competitive specialties to get into. And as part of their criteria to rank their applicants, they will essentially have this set of criteria that will award points to the applicants based on whether they've fulfilled them or not. And at the end, they will get an aggregate score that the specialty college will use to rank their applicants. And one of the criteria that is included is research, and virtually every competitive program applies this. So, if you're one of those medical students that is just myopic and gun-ho to become a neurosurgeon like Dr. McDreamy or a plastic surgeon like Dr. McSteamy in Grey's Anatomy, I implore you to find supervisors and get started with research early on, and try to get a publication, a poster, or a conference presentation out of it. So that's it, guys. Those are the 5 things that I wish I knew before I started medical school, and I hope you'll find these insights useful as you continue along and progress in your medical school journey. So that's it. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.